how do I maintain my alignment, and how do I maintain my vibration, and how do I get back on track when I'm feeling negative emotion. I look at myself as a system. Okay, now in that system I am feeding inputs. Right now I have a certain vibration. Throughout the day that energy changes as I am feeding the system with certain things, so I can also use it to my advantage. First thing is to become aware of how and what I'm feeding it. Okay, so we feed with so many things, like what we see, what we think, what we hear, and what we talk. All of this is basically altering my vibration. So one thing is I have to be aware of what I'm feeding. Okay, and let's say I'm not feeling that good, so I can also use these inputs to change the vibration in a very fast way. For me it works really fast, especially with like my visual sense. So what I do is, if I'm not well or if I'm not feeling good, then, or let's say I have a very strong negative emotion and I want to quickly change it, I use my visual sense to alter my energy, to raise my vibration, and I watch funny movies, because thinking does not work best for me when I'm in a very strong negative emotion. So changing the emotion is very easy for me when I'm watching a funny movie, because after a while I completely forget it's a movie, or it's not my reality, or the problem or the reason for my negative emotion. And because I watch the whole movie, and sometimes I watch some movies that I've already watched and I know it has a curve of moving to a positive emotion. So by the time I'm done, that is what I've seen. That is the quickest way for me to change my vibration. Another thing is, what I have seen is, whenever I have a negative emotion, especially if it is because of something, there is some event, or it is because of someone, I can see that I have options unfolding in two directions, and there is a part of me that is not even willing to let go, because it feels like if I let go I'm losing. Okay, and I can feel it. There are a lot of times when, let's say, I'm willing, but in that moment the momentum is so much that I cannot let go of it. That is okay for me. That is not the moment I struggle. Whenever I am in whatever momentum and whatever negative emotion, and let's say I'm willing, I'm trying, but I'm not able to do it, I really don't struggle, and I don't try a lot, because I feel it's not the time to do it. But all of the other times when I can feel that emotion, and I also know that I am not willing, because I want to take that path, and otherwise it feels like I'm losing, as if there's a battle between me and the other person. Sometimes it's the other person, or sometimes it's just a situation, something that happened. So it feels like if I let go, then I am losing and I'm not willing to do it. But I also know that if I continue on that path, the day is not going to unfold very beautifully. So I also know that there is another path where I want that love, joy and abundance. That is that is something I desire the most, even more than what feels like winning or losing or whatever. So what I do is I do some very neutral activity, like go for a walk, or just go take a shower, or just drink water or something, some very neutral activity. And during that activity I keep saying to myself that I acknowledge this emotion, I acknowledge this momentum, but I'm really willing to let it go. When I'm sitting with that emotion, it really feels like, okay, it's not going to change. And so there's a part of my mind that keeps saying, okay, the momentum is too much. Even if I'm willing, I cannot change it. We'll have to cancel the plans, or the day is spoiled, or something like that. Because it feels really big initially. But with practice, now I know that if I do it for a little bit, then the momentum has to change. It's a law, and it will. After a while, even when I'm sitting with that emotion, new thoughts start flowing, and your mind gets distracted from that thing. I have seen that. So there's that emotion, but you also have newer thoughts or some events happening that distract you from that emotional turmoil. And after a while, you will see that it has dissipated. So it's very important that you practice it, so that the more you see it, the more you believe it, and then you know it, that if I do this, then it's going to turn out fine. And that's how I do it. I keep doing it, and then I believe it more. And another thing is, for something goes in a different way than I expected it, now I look at things with a continuity. As in, I know that even when something does not turn out the way I want it to, I know life is not stopping there. So if I don't offer an emotion as a response to that event, whatever I desired will happen in some time. And in most cases, if it's really small stuff, like we went for lunch and the lunch was not good, or it didn't turn out the way we wanted it for so many reasons, what I have seen is the same desired manifestation will happen either for dinner that day, or in a few days. So when I know that thing with practice, that it's going to happen, as long as I don't take that as the reason for me to feel negative emotion, and I can let it go, then I'm not willing to sit with negative emotion, because I know it's a continuous process. So if not today, after 3 days, so there's a knowing that it will unfold exactly the way I want it to. It's just not happening today, but that is not a reason for me to start feeling negative emotion and totally leave everything, leave my vibration. And that's what I do. So that was about how, when you're feeling negative emotion, how you change it, and the other thing, how to start with a positive emotion. So for me, one thing that I follow is meditation every day, at least for 10-15 minutes. The second thing I follow is general self-care, whatever that self-care means to you, whatever is the most important to you to maintain your happiness. And the third thing, for me, self-care is taking care of my body, my food, my sleep, and drinking water. Those are really, really important. And not feeling too tired, those are very important for me. So it's not something you do in 1 or 2 days. It's a practice, it's a habit that you develop as your self-care routine. Okay, so another thing is, like, of course, like Abraham says, you have to start the day on a good note. So that is very, very important. When you have rested well and when you wake up in the morning, that you have the highest chances of starting the day on the right note. See, if you have a habit of getting up with certain thoughts, that also is a pattern, and it is influenced by so many other things, like the general vibrational atmosphere you have going on a day-to-day basis. Okay, changing the beliefs, changing general beliefs about well-being, abundance, life, yourself, all of that helps in how you just feel about life. Let's say when you're looking forward to something, or there is something really happy happening in your life, then when you wake up from sleep, there is an excitement about that day. Okay, there is interest about that day. That naturally happens. Why is it happening? Is because you are feeling very good about life. You feel taken care, and you feel special, you feel confident, and you're generally happy about being you and life, whatever is the reason. Okay, so you're really looking forward to it. You have that energy going, and that makes you just wake up with a smile. But when that is not the case, and you have, let's say, on day-to-day basis, you don't feel a general abundance about life, then it feels like a lot of work initially. But that can be changed, and you change it by, it's not going to happen that you just decide, I'm just going to wake up happy from tomorrow, looking forward to just life. That does not suddenly happen. Okay, either it can happen that you take up some activity in life that you are so excited about, then that is the easiest way. You just get up so looking forward to doing some activity. You don't have to think and sort your thoughts. It is an emotional reaction. Okay, if that is not happening, you have a normal day-to-day stuff going, even in that case, what you can do is, when you change your beliefs about abundance, well-being, and your general feeling of how you are taken care of, then that starts reflecting on your beliefs about yourself and how much you look forward to life. Okay, so these are all interrelated, these are all different steps you can take. So along with that, then there are certain vibrational steps that you can take, and that is to go to sleep with a good state of mind. What Abraham says is, if you go to sleep in the vortex, you wake up in the vortex.